and welcome to iPen Podcast. My name is Joanne Cox.
Hi, I'm Nanette Buchanan, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. And this week we're going to talk about valid career choices for college students. But guess what? We don't want you to tell us because you're not the student. Do parents allow their children to make the choices?
Most of the time, in my opinion, they don't.
And is it because we don't trust them to make the right choice?
I don't think the word is trust. I think we base it on them simply not knowing and having the right resources to select.
Okay, the child has been in extra programs.
Mm-hmm.
They've been gearing toward being an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been taking after-school classes, extra Saturday classes. They've been in the different programs that relate to engineering or anything in that facet.
Mm-hmm.
Now it comes time for graduation, and they've chosen engineering school that they want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And they've picked the engineering program that they want to take.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes time to go to the school and take the classes, in the middle of it, they've decided, you know what it is, that that's not what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So do the parents have a valid reason for picking the school
Mm-hmm.
that the student should go to, or the courses that they should take going toward college, or going toward furthering their education toward a career?
Well, I see 2 points of view here, and it depends on personality. From the parent's perspective and the student, there are some students that have been so outspoken, they've been so in the community, they know about these things. They've learned from fellow students that are already in college. And the same with parents. They have already checked these things out. They know what would be great for that particular child versus what they think they're going for. And they don't see them as an adult yet.
Well, does this create some type of, and I'm only asking the questions because of the simple fact that we find a lot of times the kids go into college and then they don't want to go to that college, they want to switch to another college, or they go into college and they study for these courses and then their junior year, boom, they don't want to take those courses, they want to change to another course, or then they go into school with the pretense that the parents have told them, you're going to this school, and all our family went to this school, and all our family became teachers, and all our family became this. What do you mean you don't want to do that? All I'm saying is, do we think that the valid career choice is made at the onset of going into college?
I think on both parts. I think this is such a huge area. And I think that usually in your junior year, there are counselors and teachers outside of the home steering your children in certain directions that they believe that your kids would be great at this.
That fits them academically.
Yes.
Or fits their personality that they see while they're at school, which brings up my next point.
Okay.
Do we really know our children? Do we really know what they're doing at school? Mm-hmm. What projects they may be in? Mm-hmm. What minors that become majors? Mm-hmm. Because I know for myself, I was in all music school. I wasn't going to take music in college. Mm-hmm. But I was in all music high school.
Yes.
Well, drama and arts and everything else, high school. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't going to do that in college. I wasn't. That's not why I went to the school. I went to the school because I got a better education. Yes. Period.
And we know that some people...
so some people are going to school just for that better education. Yes. And then they have no intentions of following whatever it was that career path. But I didn't tell my mother that.
And why wouldn't you? So that they would know.
Because she would have said, Well, why are you going to that school then? You need to go to a school that's going to do... No, I need to be where my friends are. Mm-hmm. I need to be where I associate. See? I need to be where I am. And that's what I mean, because by the time they get into... We have to go back to the topic that I love so much. A 17-year-old mm-hmm. knows no more than the 18-year-old that we think is the adult. Mm-hmm.
But yet that one number...
changes everything.
Say now you are an adult.
The 4 years in college mm-hmm. is the next growth period of the 4 years in high school. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And I'm not saying that they have 4 years to teeter and totter around, because it costs a whole lot more. they should know about the money. But the thing about it is, it's still a growth period.
It is.
And sometimes they're learning how to stay away from home. Mm-hmm. They're learning how to be on their own. They're learning how to manage their own stuff for the first time.
Even the finances.
They're learning how to do
property.
They're learning how to do social skills.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're talking computer, they talk on a computer and everything else. But now they got to learn how to live with someone in a dorm. Mm-hmm. They may not have the siblings at home, and or cultural differences. There's so many things.
That's why I said this is
that they learn in those 4 years. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the things that they learn change
their course. Totally agree. Yes.
So the thing is, as parents, we have to be a little more open mm-hmm. and a little more lenient mm-hmm. to them making their changes, them growing.
Yes.
And them understanding the whole gambit.
That's it, the whole gamut.
They have to understand the whole... And I did this with my children. I think the audience and you will get a kick out of this. I paid for my children to go to school from nursery school all the way up through high school. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about little pay. They went to private school mm-hmm. the whole time. From nursery school all the way to high school.
Okay.
And all the way out of high school. Mm-hmm. I only paid for 1 year of college. My father and I got together, and he said, I'll pay 1 year hers, you pay 1 year his. Mm-hmm. And we paid for 1 year of college. Mm-hmm. I thought, if I don't pay for the second year, they're not going to keep going. But I've instilled in them the education that they need to keep going. I thought, I got to pay for these extra programs or they're not going to get in them. And they would come home and tell me what programs they found out about and how they got in them and how they use student aid and student different things to get in what their interest was. Because I'm sitting at home with the book. They need to get into this. Mm-hmm. This sounds good.
Yes.
I thought that I would choose the college, not so much for it to be close to home, but something that would fit what they were used to. Mm-hmm. And they chose schools that were not what my choice was.
Because of your mindset.
Because they didn't choose what I thought. Mm-hmm. My daughter changed her choice. Mm-hmm. She wanted to go into law and everything, and then she changed it, and I had no idea what she was taking. But I didn't mind so much because now, in the second year, she was on her own. She had to find programs that had the aid, programs that had the assistance, programs that had different things. And it kept her more to the rigidness of, this is what I want to do.
And I think the key here is when you talk about the valid career choices for college students, I think it starts before college.
It does.
And so I think parents and students need to be aware. In the 9th grade,
the gambit of this huge endeavor,
life-changing experience,
huge endeavor. It's their last step to adulthood.
Yes, and I've heard
independence.
And I've heard parents say, and I thought it was very wise, that you need to take a year after high school and make a decision so that you can do some resources, check out some places.
And these are the things that the parent and the child have to come together mm-hmm. and allow the thought
process, because it starts so much earlier.
Because if they're not interested in what goes on, mm-hmm. if they're not interested in how to make those choices. They may very well lay up in the dorm room and you paying for tuition and they ain't going to class. Because you've made up their whole schedule and then they're like, that's not what I wanted to take. It costs you to change those courses.
That's right.
It costs you if they don't go because now they got to go to summer school to make up those credits.
Yeah.
So it's going to cost you in the long run if you don't just have that conversation. And I don't mean have that conversation like Joanne said during the senior year after you take the test and everything else so the admission letter comes. We're talking about have those talks. 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. Continually talk about future. Continually talk. My son was one that said, well, I might go back. I like going now, but I think I'm going to take a break and go back later. Well, he went back and he got his degree and everything. And those that frown upon that don't realize that that's that gap where they're trying to make a decision of, do I continue here or do I go there? That's that divide in the road where you have that, which way do I go? Yeah. And that decision, if they wait the 2 years after they've done 2 years in college, which is what he did 2 years and then he took that break. That might be during the time where his mind has finally said, hey, you got some choices to make. Developing changes. And
that's what we want you to hear.
We cannot be involved in all of their development and changes.
And when I said, starting in 9th grade or even earlier, is that we need to know about the community things that they're involved in and how that is shaping your child. Whether it is a sport or whether it is the debate club or what have you. But all of these things make a difference in their decision in how they are going to survive and thrive in college and outside of college.
Because they got to understand too that the classes in college are not the same as the classes in high school. In high school you got that teacher that's Joanne Cox, Nanette Buchanan. In college, ain't nobody calling your name out like that.
If you're there, that's fine. And if you're not there,
if you don't
fine.
turn in that test, that's when they know you're not there.
And this is what, all parents need to know, is that these are the things that they should be responsible for. A lot of parents don't allow their kids to understand finances. And so when you don't have to earn some $200 tennis shoes or the money that you take your date out with, so parents are paying for their kids to go on dates. So all of this comes around to, what is it like to take care of the gas in the car, the oil change? All of this is developing when they go to school now, and now they're hitting rock bottom because of the fact that they didn't know anything about finances.
And not only that,
real life situations.
Little simple stuff. Learning how to eat when you're not at home. When you can't open up that refrigerator at home and get what somebody else bought. How do you eat?
Yes.
What do you go get? And one of the things that we made our son do was once a week. We know you're going to eat the junk food. You're going to eat the Pop-Tarts. You're going to eat, you're going to eat that junk food. You're going to get the romaine noodles. You're going to get all of that stuff. We know you're going to do that. But once a week, we have given you an allowance once a week where you are able to go to a restaurant and eat. Not a McDonald's, not a Wendy's, not a Burger King. And not because you're not going to go there and eat at those places.
Right.
But we want you to get a restaurant experience.
Yes.
And learn. And what we learned from it as parents, he didn't know how to order bigger dinners.
And I know this from my two daughters, is that what they saw in the household, and there's this thing that's being said that it's not what you teach your children, it's what they grow up in the environment
Exactly.
of. And so when they are understanding the finances from the household and understanding the repercussions of not having and having, and being able to do social things as well as family things, as well as fun things, these are the people that you will see grow in a different way.
Progress.
In a positive way. But don't get me wrong, there are people that just so happen to say, this is not what I want, what I saw in my home. So I'm going in the direct opposite of what I saw. And then there are people that pattern themselves after what they saw and was brought up in.
Or you have the ones that are strictly, I've been following this and this and this and this and
that
this
detail
and this and this, and they go right on through school and don't have a problem. But the thing is that it's an environment of so many different people doing so many different things, so many different experiences, so many different growth opportunities, so many other things that go on, that what we're telling you today is that the career choice needs to be a topic, but it doesn't need to be your career. It doesn't need to be that Junior or Junette is following in your path. And it should have been a discussion that has been on the table or at the table well before they get to college.
And understand that we are changing from our growth pattern mentally from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And so expect those changes to take place.
And some kids want to go away.
Yes.
Some kids want to go away.
They don't even want to stay.
They don't even want to stay in the United States and study. They want to go abroad. Well, if they want to go abroad, then we need to be talking about how much is it going to cost? What's the cost of living there? Do a family research thing on a Friday night. Do some things that lead toward this. Do some things, your kid is getting ready to take the PSAT or the SAT. Do some things on a Friday night that lead towards study. Not sit down study with the book, but do games, game night with vocabulary and math and different things. Prepare them for the growth. And I believe if you prepare them for the growth, it's easier on you and it's easier on them to make a valid choice.
And if you don't know how to do these things, go outside of your home to people that do know how, because there are coaches and social workers and counselors that can help you in this area if you want to know how to structure this pattern before they become juniors.
And one other thing. Take into consideration your child going off to college, and you're worrying about the topics and the subjects in the curriculum that they have, but they don't have any other outside activities that round them off. Life is about rounding the children off. They need to have a rounded life. It shouldn't all be about finances. It shouldn't all be about career. It shouldn't all be about social. It shouldn't all be about community. It shouldn't all be about religion. It shouldn't all be about what you want or what they want. It's a combination of everything.
Yes.
It has to be everything. And if you're not getting that in one area, that's the area that they're gonna go look for,
and that's because a lot of information.
Because it's missing,
and we understand that all the things that you've heard today is a lot of information, but it's so serious, and it helps us to have a better world when we produce kids that are healthy, mentally, spiritually,
and well-rounded.
Yes, and so I know that we're going to get a lot of feedback on this, and it is such a topic that's dear to my heart, and I feel like I've been quiet on this because I've had so many thoughts during the talking process. But understand that preparation is everything, and we don't all know how to prepare. That makes it okay.
And it is okay. And the thing is, it comes down to one basic thing. Parents rarely let go. But the reality is, our children grow.
Very well said.
We want to hold on to them. They're our babies. But if you hold on to them, you'll be taking care of them a lifetime. You got to let them grow.
Yes.
And in that, you have to be the parent and show them. It's up to you to show them. And we want you to show us what you think and what you've learned while listening to this podcast. Give us some feedback so that we can share between each other and share with other parents.
Yes.
What are you going through? We're getting ready to round the corner of another school year. We're getting ready to go into January.
That's right.
Pretty soon you'll have another group of graduates. what are you going to make for those career choices?
That's right. That's right. And on this heavy topic, it's time to go ahead and just end this episode.
Yeah, because
so we'll
have to bring it out in another episode. But I want to just put a little thought in your mind. Just put a little thought in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
To well-rounded children make a well-rounded world.
Very well said again. And so until next time, every Thursday a new episode, but you can see it anytime. So have a friend to join, do those comments, and take it away, Nanette.
Yes, be our subscriber.
Subscribe.
Be our subscriber. Have a good week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye-bye.